So the title of the show comes from a book that I'd been reading about the Hagia Sophia, and this academic was writing about it in terms of its kind of sonic qualities and how it would be a space that was held together architecturally by groups of people gathering and singing and chanting together. One of the kind of qualities that she spoke about of the building was this idea that she called material flux, and it was to do with the fact that the whole place is sort of like lined with marble and it's full of gold, so that the whole material of the space would have felt like it was literally sort of in flux.
The woman describes the kind of glitter and the kind of shine of the dust and everything. But there was a real thing about the celestial, but also the terrestrial.
Even though the Highlanes is clearly not richly encrusted in gold, it does have that magnificent 19th century altar. It felt like it spoke to something of the kind of feeling that you get when you go into a sacred space. We enjoy talking to each other about being artists in a way, like about, you know, what it means to make things.
It feels as if we both are quite exploratory with materials and paint, and that there may be a sort of beginning point or a fragment of something, but then it's into a kind of exploratory world once you get into making a piece.
There are strands within my work that I think kind of feature within the exhibition, and one of those things is a kind of interested in the idea of like familiar objects that are functionally useless, functionally failed maybe. So there's a curtain that's made out of steel, but it's completely see-through. It's like a drawing of a curtain made in steel. And similarly, there's a work that I kind of refer to as a bench. It's actually based a little bit on kind of logs gathered for a campfire. I was surprised at how quickly we installed, particularly placing Aleana's floor piece.
The piece is called Memory Shape. It's just cut steel and then shot blast. And inside it is a material that is used for insulating houses called cellulose fibre. It is just made up of recycled newspaper and cardboard. When you put it on your hand, and you rub it, you can almost see some of the print, like from the newspapers, or some of the colours. It really changes the atmosphere of the room in quite a sort of energetic way.
The piece that's on the altar, in my head I feel like it's a little bit like an anchor because it's surrounded by all of these ropes, so it looks like something that's washed up, this sort of heavy steel object, but the form of it is actually a chandelier.
So the engine is a 2CV engine. That was my dad's. It's from 1959, and I used it in a previous work. I sort of like the idea of enveloping it in another work.
One of the interesting things about working in a space with so much character, and maybe particularly when you're slightly more experienced at installing exhibitions, like you don't need that many works to activate a space that has so much kind of going on in it already.
So we talked a lot about the material and the immaterial, and sort of things shifting between solid and liquid, and maybe that something new could come out of it being inchoate between us.
But there is that moment sometimes when you take some quite ordinary materials or kind of inert matter and arrange it in a new combination, and you feel like you've made something new. And I think the title speaks to that feeling a little bit.